Welcome. This is the Rip Griffin Show podcast, a baseball podcast for baseball fans of all ages. Now, here's your host, Rip Griffin.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to this episode of the Rip Griffin Show. This is episode number 58. As always, I have my co-host with me, Mr. Brad Chandler. Brad, what's going on, man?
Not a whole hell of a lot, man. Enjoying my my little vacation up here in chilly Connecticut.
Oh, come on. It can't be that chilly.
Actually, it's supposed to get into the 50s, so I'll take it.
Oh, okay.
And we're on episode 58, huh? Wow.
Yes, we are. We are approaching 60 here, which will be, I was calculating that actually today, and our first episode of 2021 will be episode number 60.
Man, I'm super excited for 2021 with everything that we've been doing so far since I've actually joined you as a co-host. It's been exciting. We just implemented a giveaway actually for this episode, and it's for a Mike Trout baseball card, which I'm going to put a little, I'm going to plug it. So to everybody that's listening, go to our Twitter. I almost said Facebook, but go to our Twitter page, and which is twitter.com/Rip Griffin Show. There, find our tweet with the Mike Trout baseball card. It's got to be with the original tweet. All we want you to do is just retweet that tweet and follow the page, and you are entered to win a Mike Trout baseball card.
And that's it. That's all you have to do. Retweet and follow. Boom. And you're entered.
And the winner will actually be announced on the very first episode of the 2021 season premiere, I guess.
Yes,
the season premiere.
Yeah, season 2 of the show. We'll kick off. The first week in January.
I guess we'll do like each year will be a new season. So
yeah, just might as well.
I'm fine with that.
That's right. So even though we are running into the end of 2020 in this season, but we still have our team of the week, which obviously is the Los Angeles Angels, which we are both representing. Well, you are representing. I have them in the background here. But before we get into our team of the week and our player of the week and the Angels, are you repping the Mike Trout jersey, or is it our player of the week jersey?
I'm just going to let people think whatever they want to think with me wearing the number 27.
Okay, there can only be two choices. We'll have to find out here in the next couple of minutes. But first, let's go ahead and dive into
Trout.
Spoiler alert. But let's go ahead and jump into some of the news, because it's been a relatively quiet week. It's been kind of picking up here today. One of the key things that we are all wondering is, where will George Springer land? I think that's been the main topic of the hot stove season.
It really seems to be a Houston Astros like wondering where he's going to land, because since the beginning of the offseason, or actually even before that, I believe I've said he was going to end up in the Northeast because of the fact that he's tied. His family is from my home state, Connecticut. So the first three choices that come to mind are, you got the Boston Red Sox, they need a center fielder. You got the New York Mets, and then you got the New York Yankees, who are just always in on everybody.
Right.
So and so far it seems to be that the Yankees and the Sox are not in it at all. It seems like the Mets and the Blue Jays are in.
Which is interesting. I was looking at some of the numbers for the Blue Jays today, and they've got about $190 million they can spend.
$190 million they can spend?
$190 million. Their payroll was $70 million last year.
Wow.
And the threshold is $210 million. So they got some money to spend, and they're looking at a lot of players to boost their organization, their lineups.
And George Springer would be one hell of a pickup for them.
He really would. Can you imagine that lineup when you've got George Springer leading off? You've got Kevin Biggio. You've got Bo Bichette. You've got Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Imagine that top of that lineup. Oh,
That's just insane.
The Blue Jays are going to be a team to beat in the American League East.
Now, I also know that the Blue Jays are in the talks with DJ LeMahieu, too.
Yes, and I got some points on that, and we'll touch on that here in just a minute. Or we can touch on it now.
Hey, let's get right into that.
Okay. So we all know that the New York Yankees are actively trying to re-sign DJ LeMahieu.
He's actually their number one goal from what Brian Cashman was talking about.
Right. And he's also come out and said that the Yankees are wanting to kind of trim the fat off of their payroll, so to speak.
I believe that was Hal Steinbrenner that was saying that. But yeah, it's the Yankees aren't trying to trim fat. I mean, if the Yankees are trying to trim fat, then they did it wrong by signing Cole to that ginormous contract.
Right. And when you look at the numbers, and this is per spot track, that the Yankees have about $290,000 to spend. Right now, their payroll is $209 million. So they're right under that luxury tax threshold that they need to be under. But it's the Yankees. We always know that they're going to go above that threshold and they're going to pay that extra luxury tax because they're the Yankees. They do that every year. They always go over it. And DJ LeMahieu, the Yankees are right now about $25 million apart from what I'm hearing.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing as well.
So, and then you've got the Blue Jays that have just come out of the woodworks and are actively interested in LeMahieu. So it would be interesting to see what they go and do because, you add LeMahieu just hypothetically, and then you've got Bichette, Guerrero Jr., you've got BGO. I mean, that infield would be stacked.
Yeah, I mean, having just BGO and Bichette with DJ LeMahieu is just insane. I know that they're talking about giving Vlad Jr. another shot at third base, but it seems like they kind of are really on the cusp of like letting him stay at first and be the DH and whatnot. But also on the DJ LeMahieu side of everything, it seems like the New York Mets are joining in on that conversation.
That was interesting today because I think the Mets are always going to be the talk of the offseason just because of Steve Cohen and his purchase of the Mets. And they are the team that has the most that they can spend because were not affected. That new regime was not affected due to COVID. So you look at the Mets, and they're always going to be on the talks. I mean, of course, Springer and possibly Francisco Lindor. If there's a trade there, LeMahieu. I mean, that would be interesting to see. You've got two New York teams vying for the services of DJ LeMahieu.
And it's no secret here that I wouldn't mind seeing DJ playing for the Queens side of New York.
It would definitely be interesting.
I mean, come on. I definitely want to see DJ go to Queens.
It'll give your team a chance to kind of take over the American League East over the Yankees.
Yeah, right. Please. The Red Sox actually have a lot of work they have to do. Not a lot of work, but they got. I don't even want to get into that.
So let's touch on the fans for a second. Now, if LeMahieu up and leaves and chooses the Mets, or if he chooses the Blue Jays, what do you think the reaction is going to be to the fan base in New York, with the Yankees particularly?
Well, I know right now that a bunch of Yankee fans are saying that they want, throw whatever, give him whatever he wants, which, I listened to, we both actually listened to another podcast called Breaking Balls, and their host and co-host, Emily Nyman and John Snyder, they've both talked about this, and they've gone ahead and said that, it's unfeasible for them to go ahead and throw whatever they wanted at him because they did it last year. They did it last year with Cole.
Right.
And because the fact that they threw whatever they wanted to at him, they can't just do that every year.
No.
And right now they're about $25 million apart. And I mean, you can't just be like, yep, we're going to throw you $25 million. And Yankee fans are going to be upset. They're going to be really upset that the Yankees and Cashman and the Steinbrenners didn't go ahead and just, sign them for $135 million for 4 years or 4 or 5 years.
Right.
I mean, the guy's not, he's like 32, 33 years old. You give him a 4 or 5 year contract, you're getting him until he's 37, 38. That's not good.
No. And they also have to look at, they've got Aaron Judge, who's in his second year of arbitration right now. So they're going to have him to think about within the next 2 years. I think 2022 is when he becomes a free agent. Now, I don't know what they're going to do with Gary Sanchez. I know he was kind of on the trade rumor earlier this offseason. They still have Gleyber Torres. You got Giancarlo Stanton, Aroldis Chapman. Cole, Chapman, and Stanton eat up 49% of their payroll. So what are they going to do with these other guys, especially Aaron Judge, who's become a household name there in New York and with that organization?
Well, Judge is actually up for he is a free agent in 2023. So after 2022.
Okay. So it's still, I mean, it's going to be here before you know it. And either they're going to have to work out negotiate an extension now, or if they wait until 2023, what's going to happen? We don't know yet. And the Yankees have a lot to consider on how they proceed with their lineup.
Yeah. So they have a lot to think about, to talk about, and fans are going to be upset if they don't sign them. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. There was other news this week that came out. Howie Kendrick ended up retiring.
The Nationals hero in 2019.
Right. So on behalf of Rip and myself, I want to actually say, may your retirement be all that it will end up being. He deserves it. 15 years, I believe, he played in the league. So
yeah, so he was their hero in 2019, and of course in the ALDS against the Dodgers, and of course in the Game 7 of the World Series against the Astros, which catapulted them to their first World Series championship. So enjoy retirement, Howie Kendrick.
And also other news that came out today. I thought that this was kind of interesting. I didn't know that Yoenis Cespedes had a half brother. It looks like it is officially. It was earlier that the White Sox were going to land. I'm not even sure how to pronounce his name. Yoenis Cespedes. I'll tell you. I'll tell you what, like looking at his picture, you can definitely tell that he is definitely related to Yoenis. And man, are those eyebrows definitely like you saw the picture, right?
Oh yeah, no.
It looked like they were like painted or spray painted on.
I saw the video of him taking batting practice.
Batting practice, yeah,
and
that was crazy.
It was. He's going to be one that I think is going to fly through the minor league system.
And definitely.
We should see him, I'm going to say probably August, September of 2021.
I think 2021, man, you're like saying that he's not even going to be playing in the minor league system this year?
I'm saying he's going to fly through it.
I say 2022.
Okay. We'll see.
So.
We'll see what happens. But, I mean, just watching the video, the power. Now, he is probably one of the older international signings. He's 23. But, I mean, he's the number one international prospect, and the White Sox got him. Looks like about a $2 million bonus is what I saw. So, I mean, the White Sox are preparing to contend, and they got a big time bat that's going to be on the horizon soon.
Right. And, if he's anything like his brother, I hope he's not, I hope that he doesn't have the same, what is it?
Hopefully he's not injury prone.
Well, that was definitely something I'd hope he wasn't, but how Cespedes ended up like just, nah, I'm not going to come in and work. Hopefully his work ethic is a lot better than Yoenis.
Well, just kind of watching the clips earlier, looks like it. I mean, he's in incredible shape, so hopefully that aspect will kind of the work ethic will. Hopefully he gets some of the right people that will kind of coach him and train him and whatnot, so he can get those big league reps coming up. But one of the other things, just to kind of change gears a little bit, that we wanted to touch on was the Royals signing Adam Wainwright.
Yeah, that was a little strange. Did they finally sign him?
I think they're still interested in him. That's probably the word I should have used.
Yeah, because when I saw earlier, I think it was just they were interested in him. It's just odd, hearing Adam Wainwright's name and it being outside of the Cardinals.
Right. And the Royals already have depth at pitching. They've got 5 starters already. Chris Bubik, Danny Duffy, Jake Eunice, Brad Keller, and Brady Singer. I mean, that's the rotation there. Signing, or even the potential signing of Wainwright, doesn't really make sense other than the fact that they may be wanting to add some more depth. Or maybe one of those 5 starters might be headed to the bullpen.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's just, for me, it's just strange hearing Adam Wainwright's name not mentioned with the Cardinals.
Right. So to kind of finish up the news real quick. Actually, there's a couple more things before I get too ahead of myself. Francisco Lindor's in the talks as well as possibly a trade candidate.
He's always in the talks. He's in the talks every year.
Yeah, some of the teams, of course, Blue Jays, Phillies. I don't know if the Phillies can afford it. Reds, Yankees, Mets, and Cardinals and Dodgers, all teams that would have to give up top prospects to acquire him, but we'll see what happens. And then, of course, there was a big signing as general manager today with the Phillies. Sam Fold is now the new general manager.
That was interesting to see, especially with the fact that he was one of the top candidates for the Boston Red Sox manager's position. So good on him. He got a position in upper management with the Phillies. He'll be working under Dave Dombrowski. I feel like if you're going to get your first shot, Dave Dombrowski really isn't. I know that I've crapped all over Dombrowski on social media through, I just crapped on him. But, I think that he can learn some stuff from Dombrowski. And hopefully it isn't, let's just sell the farm.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how the Angels proceed. Or Angels, I'm already getting ahead of myself. The Phillies, see how they proceed in the offseason, to kind of give some help to Bryce Harper. So we'll kind of see how they do things going forward. But we had a signing today also. The Mets avoided arbitration and were able to lock up Noah Syndergaard on a $9.7 million contract for next season, even though he's going to be out with Tommy John until May or June.
Yeah, it seems like this was the right way to go about it with Syndergaard. He's one of their better pitchers. Yeah, he's out on with TJ right now, but you got DeGrom, you got Stroman, and then you get the possibility that the Mets go after Trevor Bauer. And I know that Bauer's been pretty high on the way that Alderson has been responding to it being like a to the way that Bauer is doing stuff this offseason, with it being an entertainment type situation. So we'll see what ends up coming of the Mets in 2021. And Cohen's already making big splashes regardless of who he signs.
Oh yeah. It's going to be all eyes are on the Mets this offseason to see what or who they bring into their organization. So, but that's going to kind of pretty much cover up the news this week. Like I said, it was kind of quiet. Then all of a sudden we had some things come up today. So, but you ready to talk about our team of the week?
Let's do it.
So, as you all can see, if you are not watching and you are listening to us, our team of the week is the Los Angeles Angels
Of Anaheim.
So we are excited to talk about this because we have a couple players that we put on our poll that we'll get to them in just a minute. But
we actually decided to change stuff up this week.
Yes.
And instead of talking about all 4 players, we're going to talk about the top 2 players. And I believe there was a tie.
There was a tie between Mike Trout and Rod Carew. And so we made a change. We made the decision to talk about Mike Trout. And we'll get to him in just a minute.
And the reason why we decided to talk about Mike Trout is because our player of the week was Vlad Guerrero, who wore number 27. And we decided to keep it a little simple. And Mike Trout wears 27 as well. So we're just going to talk about number 27. Rod Carew was great. Don't get me wrong, but
Trout and Vladimir Guerrero, not junior,
senior.
So let's talk about the Angels real quick.
Let's go.
So the Angels are one of the youngest teams in Major League Baseball. Well, actually, I wouldn't say youngest team because we've had a couple of expansion teams since then. But they were founded in 1961. They're in Los Angeles. They've had quite a few name changes. They started out the Los Angeles Angels, which was from 1961 to 1964. Then they were the California Angels from 1965 to 1996.
The big CA on their hats.
The big C. Then they went to the Anaheim Angels from 1997 to 2004. And then the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim from 2005 to 2015. And now they're back to the Los Angeles Angels.
Well, I thought they were still the Angels of Anaheim.
No, they switched back in 2015. It was for the longest. It was, yeah, that's how you would recognize them. Or the California Angels. I still sometimes today call them the California Angels just because that's how I recognize them. You know, it's, but they are the Los Angeles Angels now. And they do have 10 playoff appearances. And of course, they have 1 pennant and 1 World Series. And that was in 2002. That was over our team last week, the San Francisco Giants.
All right.
And then some notable players. And we're not going to go through all of them because there's quite a few. But if we talk about it, obviously, Mike Trout is one that we all know. Nolan Ryan, Howie Kendrick, who just retired. And of course, our player of the, I guess I'm going to give it away, player of the week, Vladimir Guerrero, Torrey Hunter, and Jim Edmonds as well.
Funny story with I honestly forgot that Nolan Ryan pitched for the Angels.
Yeah, it was, I believe that was his second team because he was drafted by the Mets.
Right, he was drafted by the Mets. I forgot that he played for the Angels, and I know he played for the Astros and the Rangers.
Right. So, yeah, he is, where does he rank all time? 5th all time.
I'm just going to throw it out there that my all-time favorite Angels player was not mentioned, and my all-time favorite player for the Angels was Jim Abbott.
Yes. Yeah, he was one of the icons there in Los Angeles. And he's not, unfortunately, he's not, you know, one of their all-time top players, but he's still.
I don't care, man. I was always fascinated by the fact that he was able to pitch and field his position. He might not have been the best fielding pitcher or whatever, but the fact that he was able to pitch with one arm and then he would quickly change that glove over. And also, not to get off the subject too much, but that no hitter that he threw for the Yankees, man, holy crap!
Yeah, that was pretty phenomenal. When we get to the Yankees, we'll add him to our poll, so we can see if we can get to talk about him some more. But other than the World Series and the pennant for the Angels, they kind of had a pretty much a playoff postseason drought. They were last in the postseason back in 2014, and that was when they lost to the Kansas City Royals 3-0 in the American League Division Series. But hopefully they can get back. They still got a lot of key pieces that they need to add to their lineup to get back into the playoffs. It's
unfortunate that the front office is just not been able to get pitching. Everybody knows that the Angels need pitching. They have the offense, they have the defense. They just need pitching, and it seems like the two big teams that are being talked about for Trevor Bauer are the New York Mets. And the Mets could use pitching, but they don't absolutely need the pitching. And then the Angels, which they just, give them everything. And it's unfortunate because Mike Trout has been playing with them, I think, 8 years. I think he was drafted in 2000, or he started playing at 2012. That was his rookie year. And he hasn't been in a World Series. He's got just as many World Series appearances as Ken Griffey Jr.,
and that's something that the Angels need to work on, because you have the best player in baseball at this time that can do everything other than, you probably can put him on the mound and he will probably pitch as well.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it past him.
If that's what's going to probably have to come down to, if they need pitching, throw Mike Trout in there. I'm sure he can probably do it, but they need to help this guy. He just signed a long-term extension for $400 and some odd million. And was it 426 or something? 420, 425? I don't know. I don't have that number in front of me, but he's in it for the long haul. So why not build around that? You've got Anthony Rendon that you signed last season. You've gone
$426 million.
Okay, so I was in the ballpark there, but yeah, you've got Trout, you've got Anthony Rendon. You just went out and got shortstop Jose Iglesias. You added some bullpen help in Raciel Iglesias. Go out and get a starting pitcher. That's what you need. You need a starting pitcher.
We'll see. They have a new GM now, so we'll see what ends up happening.
It's just, I want Mike Trout to be able to get that postseason experience and get that World Series ring, because, like I said, he is the best player in baseball, and I think he needs to, either the Angels need to help him or trade him, honestly, to a team that could possibly take that contract and get him a World Series ring as well.
Unfortunately, I wouldn't want to see him traded because I have a feeling there's two teams that would definitely be trying to be here, take all the money, take all this money. You got the Dodgers and the Yankees.
Start throwing them Benjamins.
Right. I'm all set with that.
But it's hard not to get worked up, because I want, as a baseball fan, I want to see, the best player in baseball, be at the top.
Well, you saw the best player in baseball in 2020 with Mookie Betts. So
yes, and he's got two.
Yep, and one of them with my team.
And the Angels, you are our team of the week, and we are, representing your team and the fans, and we are talking about your team, and we want you to be successful. We want you to go out and go compete for a championship, and be dominant in the American League West, but pitching is what we want to see.
Yep.
So,
all right, let's talk about our players.
So let's jump into our player of the week. So we did give it away already that Vladimir Guerrero did win our player poll that we put out on our Twitter page at Rip Griffin Show. So we're going to start with Guerrero. He played 16 seasons from 1996 to 2011. And I wish the city would get their team back, the Montreal Expos. He played 8 seasons with them from 1996 to 2003. And, of course, he was with the Angels from 2004 to 2009. That was 6 seasons. And he also played 1 season with the Rangers in 2010 and 1 season with the Baltimore Orioles in 2011. He has a career .318 batting average, which ranks him 55th all-time. 1,496 RBIs, which is 57th all-time. 181 stolen bases. And back in 2004, he had a stolen base rate of 83.33%.
That's a big boy trying to steal bases.
It really is. And to be successful, now I believe he's only caught stealing over his career 94 times.
That's crazy.
So that's still phenomenal for a big boy to go out and run the bases. He did hit a career 449 home runs, which ties him with Jeff Bagwell. He had 2,590 hits, which ranks him 87th all time. And this is pretty crazy. He had 250 intentional walks, which ranks him 7th all time.
Yeah, we already know who's first, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So he was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2018, which was actually his second time on the ballot. He's a 9-time All-Star from 1999 to 2002, 2004 to 2007, and 2010. He won the AL MVP in 2004. And in 2010, he won the Edgar Martinez Award, which is an award that is the designated hitter of the year. And then he has a 8-time Silver Slugger from 1999 to 2000, 2002, 2004 through 2007, and 2010. He has a career slugging percentage of .533, which ranks him 22nd all time. And he did hit for the cycle one time, September 14th, 2003, and that was against the Mets. And he is 86th in career doubles with 477. And he hit the 30-30 for club in 2001 and 2002 with the Expos. So Vladimir Guerrero is a beast. A beast.
Yeah. What about your did you know?
So, did you know? Of all players in baseball history with at least 449 career home runs, only Stan Musial, Ted Williams, Lou Gehrig, and Mel Ott struck out less frequently than Vladimir Guerrero. Hall of Fame manager Bobby Cox called Guerrero a special hitter because he didn't know anything that ever worked with him. And he's talking about that unique stance that he had with his feet were kind of both propped in at the same time and held the bat up. And, he still managed to hit the ball out of the park.
My favorite thing about Vlad Guerrero Sr., it's also what I love about Junior too, is like you can throw them something around their ankles, they'll find a way to power that ball out of the park.
Oh yeah, there was a story that Guerrero hit one that it was a ball that was thrown in the dirt, and he still hit it off the bounce and hit it into play. That's crazy. Most would be I'm going to take the ball. But no, he went and actually hit it and got I don't remember what it was, single, maybe double, who knows.
I've seen some replays of Junior, Senior, and like the Blue Jays were showing stuff, and they have like incredible stances in the way that they swing the bat and everything like that. So yeah, I mean, that's Vladimir Guerrero. He had that unique stance, but yet, I mean, he was still a beast when it came to offense. So
But that's our player of the week, Vladimir Guerrero.
Right. And so we're going to go ahead and talk about number 27, present day, Mike Trout, who is actually known as Prince Fish. You know who's known as Kingfish?
No.
Tim Salmon.
Really?
Yo.
Is that because of his last name?
That it's because of both of their last names.
Oh, yes. I can't believe I didn't make that connection.
Right. And one of the coolest things that, like, this isn't even in my notes. It's like one of the coolest things that I actually remember was the Angels were playing against the Red Sox at Fenway, and the Angels were blowing the Sox out. And the Red Sox first baseman, Mike Carp, was pitching. And there was a thing going on, like, on the internet. It's like, oh, is Carp going to be pitching to Trout? You know, is it going to be the battle of the fishes? So yeah, that was pretty cool. That was pretty funny. It never ended up happening. They ended up missing out on that. But so Mike Trout, he won Rookie of the Year in 2012. He is an 8-time All-Star. He would have been a 9-time All-Star had there been an All-Star game this year. So he's been an All-Star from 2012 every year until 2019. He's a 2-time All MLB First Team 2019 and 2020. He has won the American League MVP 3 times, 2014, 16, and 19. He is an 8-time Silver Slugger Award winner from 2012 to 2016, and then from 2018 to 2020. He is also a 2-time AL Hank Aaron Award winner, 2014 and 2019. He also won the Wilson Defensive Player of the Year Award in 2012, his rookie year. He is also the American League RBI leader in 2014. He was also the American League stolen base leader in 2012. He entered the 30-30 club in his rookie year. He hit for the cycle 1 time. That was on May 21st, 2013. And this kind of shocked me. But did you know who his childhood hero was? I mean, you could probably read the notes and.
Yeah, I was trying to be, a little suspenseful there, but yeah,
a little subtle.
Yeah, I didn't want to jump into it right away, but the captain, number 2.
Yeah, so his all-time his favorite player growing up was Derek Jeter, and that kind of made sense because he was from Jersey,
right?
Now, I know that when Bryce Harper ended up signing with the Phillies, he was trying to name drop Mike Trout to go to the Phillies because he still hadn't signed that $426 million contract. But now it makes sense to me on why Harper ended up saying stuff like that, because after doing the research and whatnot, I found out that Mike Trout is a diehard Phillies fan, or he was a diehard Phillies fan, and he even attended the 2009 World Series parade. No, that wasn't 2009. When did they win? Was it 2008?
2008.
Yeah. So the 2008 World Series. He is a season ticket holder for the Philadelphia Eagles. It supports the Flyers and the Sixers. So anybody who knew of Mike Trout knew of the Eagles thing. Anyways. And also earlier this year, on August 23rd, 2020, a Mike Trout trading card sold for $3.93 million at auction, breaking the record for the most expensive sale for a sports card previously held by the 1909-1911 Honus Wagner card.
Wow. That's insane for a card to go for that much, but it's Mike Trout. I mean, could you imagine spending that much money on a piece of cardboard? Jeez, I'd be divorced.
I think you and I would probably end up having to like shack up in like a little mobile home or something.
Exactly. But just listening to the numbers on Mike Trout. I mean, since he came into the league in 2012, he's been Mr. Consistent. He's been Mr. Dominant, the best player in baseball, like I've already said, and the numbers show it. Just from, did you know that when he was drafted, he was the only one? I think he was projected to be a early first round, and he actually fell to the mid to late rounds.
I know the same thing happened with Mookie Betts too. It seems like the better of the players are down in like lower drafting, like in that area, and they're both the best players. Imagine if they both played together, though.
Oh, that would be the dream team.
Yeah, I don't want to see that though.
But I remember hearing something on draft day when he was drafted. He was the only one there that was present for the draft. No other players or potential players or draftees, is that what you want to call them, were there. He was the only one that was there. And I remember watching the videos saying, teams kept passing on him and kept passing on him. And finally, when it got to the Angels were like, we got to sign him. We got to draft him because he's the only one here. And it would look bad if no team drafted him on cable, on national television. So the Angels went ahead and they drafted him. And of course, we all know the rest is history, just by listening to the numbers. And then there's another little tidbit. I don't know if you know, his high school where he went to school out east, they had the opportunity to retire his number. And he said no. So every year during the off season before his high school goes and starts, playing baseball, he goes and he selects a player to wear his number every year.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Imagine having Mike Trout say, "Hey, you're going to wear my number this year."
That's pretty cool. And I think that's why he wore, I think it was number 2. I think that's why he wore number 2.
It was number 2.
Yeah. So that's always pretty cool. He still knows where he came from, knows his roots, goes back there, and still supports the community and try to help encourage those that are playing baseball to keep playing the game.
So, I mean, Mike Trout, I'm hoping that he gets a ring in the near future. It's been too long. With that being said, before we end up ending the show and you do our sign off and whatnot,
sure.
I just want to tell everybody it's been so much fun doing this show with you, and it's great having people like Cooter, who's been coming in and chatting with us and whatnot. Don't think that we haven't seen what you have been saying, Cooter. We absolutely love the fact that you say something in here. We just want more interaction with our followers and whatnot, and that's why we're doing the giveaways. And in 2021, we're thinking about doing more of that type of thing to get you guys more involved in the podcast and whatnot. So with that being said, 2021, it's going to be the beginning of a new thing for our podcast. We're giving away that Mike Trout baseball card of the first episode. I believe it's going to be January 7th. So make sure that you tune into that and follow us, retweet us, get your friends involved, have them follow us, have them retweet us. It's going to be fun next year, guys. And hopefully we get more than 100 games in 2021.
Absolutely. That's what we need. We need more baseball. We need baseball to get back on track. And also, too, like you said, the listeners, we definitely love hearing from you guys. Your interactions is something that, we want to get more involved with. So, you can head on over to our Twitter page at Rip Griffin Show. You can reach both of us. You can reach both of us at both of our Twitter pages. You can find us here at myself at Rip Griffin 2. You can find Brad at BRS Baseball 83. I completely did not put those up on the live stream until just now. That was my fault. But also, head on over to the ripgriffinshow.com. There you can click on the blue microphone at the bottom right-hand corner. Send us a voicemail so we can get your questions, so we can answer those on the air. So it will be exciting to, as we end 2020, get into 2021, lots of great things for the show. Brad and I are super excited. We're going to keep coming up with ideas to get you guys involved, and we can't wait.
Also, real quick before we sign off, we are at 91 followers right now, and we're gonna probably come up with something once we hit 100, because it'll be a milestone for us. So help us get there.
That would be phenomenal. So with that, I think we had a great show tonight. What do you think, Brad?
I think we always have a great show, but I mean, I might be a little biased there.
There's nothing wrong with that. But that's going to do it for this episode, guys. We truly appreciate those that you have listened, those that have watched the show on the live stream. As always, you can head on over to Apple, Google, or Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. Be sure to subscribe. Be sure to rate the show. Tell us how we're doing. And with that, we will see you guys next week. Have a Merry Christmas. Have happy holidays. Happy Hanukkah for those that are that like Hanukkah.
Hanukkah's over, bro.
Okay. Well, then Merry Christmas, happy holidays.
Also, next week we won't be doing a team of the week.
Yes, we got something brewing for kind of an end of the year. We'll kind of do a recap of what everything that's happened this past year in 2020. So that's going to do it for us, guys. We truly appreciate everybody that has listened and subscribed to the show. So we will see you guys next week. Merry Christmas and happy holidays.
Thanks for listening to this episode of The Rip Griffin Show. Make sure to subscribe to the show on all the major podcast platforms. Follow Rip on Twitter at RipGriffin2.